Hello, hello, everyone. Hello, everyone in the space. Please feel free to turn your cameras on. We'd love to have you in the space, to be present, for us to be able to see you. Feel free to wave, feel free to say hello. Thank you so much for being in the space. Hopefully we'll have a couple more people who will be joining us. Again, I'm so excited. For those of you who were here last week and you're here with us again, thank you so much. For those of you joining us for the first time, thank you so much. I'm just so excited. Before we start, my name is Daphnie Sicre. I want to give a land acknowledgement because it's always really important for me to recognize the land that I am on. And for me, it's very important to recognize the history, the location, and the relationship on the indigenous communities here in Los Angeles, where I actually reside. And I acknowledge that I'm on the land of the Tonga people, and that they are the traditional caretakers of this land. And especially to think about this notion of the traditional, the ancestral, and the unceded lands. It's also really important to recognize, I learned this at a workshop this week, that the Tongva people, even the language of the Tongva people or the Gabrielino people is colonized language. I just learned in the workshop that we cannot find the actual traditional name of the Tongva people. And I found that to be very interesting, that even when we're doing land acknowledgements, there are folks whose names we're using that are still colonized names. And I thought that was a very interesting thing to think about when entering spaces and recognizing land and recognizing colonialism, and at the same time recognizing the effects that it has had on folks. I also want to recognize that there is a strike going on right now, and that the writers have been picketing and have been standing their ground. It has been now more than a week that this is happening. And again, very important to recognize there are any writers in the space. Thank you so much for joining us. And if not, please support the writers, please support the strike. Please make sure that you're advocating for writers and their salaries and what they're getting paid. So again, thank you so much, everyone who's in the room. Again, feel free to turn on your cameras and say hello for a moment or not, whatever you feel more comfortable. We have a quick agenda where we will be having our incredible guest, Cato, will be talking to you and walking you through some character development. And then we will open it up the last 20 minutes for questions, but this will still be a discussion, so you could be asking questions throughout. I want to recognize the folks in the space. Selena and Naomi are going to be our sign language interpreters today. And I want to thank them in advance for all the work and the labor that they're giving us for this very special. I also want to thank Anna, who is our captions person and who is literally live and transcribing everything for everyone. And I also want to acknowledge Thea, who's going to be working behind the scenes and maneuvering everything. So with that said, I want to pass over the torch to Cato. Thank you so much for being in the space. I'm going to place your incredible bio in the chat for everyone in the space and in the room. I also want to congratulate you for closing your show.
Thank you.
So exciting. Off-Broadway, just incredible. Sancocho, just everything I heard, all the reviews, everyone that saw it, just love everywhere. So congratulations on that. It's such a wonderful, incredible accomplishment. So with that said, passing it on to you.
Yeah, hi everyone. Greetings from New York City. I am right now sitting in the office of Miriam Colon at the Puerto Rican Traveling Theater in Midtown. So she's right there on my right, as you can see. So she's with us too. And I'm going to jump right in because I have some really cool things to share. First of all, maybe to get yourselves ready, you should have a pen and paper or notebook and pen. Because we're gonna be doing some handwriting, and if you can't, that's all good. If you need to type in your computer, that's totally fine. But in the meditation exercise, it's going to be really helpful to have that brain to hand connection. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead. So we're going to be doing a psychological character development process today. when we think about character development, there's so many exercises, there are so many ways that we can explore who our characters are. However, understanding their psyche is just as important as understanding, what they want. It's just as important as understanding, what their actions are going to be. I mean, like, these are understanding their psyche is how you're going to determine, what your character is going to do and how your character is going to react to a certain moment. So I do want to begin with the 5 basic emotional needs. And these are just things to think about when you're exploring your characters, right? Because humans, we all have needs and we all have wants and desires, but we have emotional basic needs that drive us every day. They drive us to get the things that we want. They are the drive, they are the catalyst, they are the reasons why we keep doing what we do to achieve these things, right? And so those 5 basic emotional needs are comfort, love, validation, justice, and respect. I'll repeat that again. Comfort, love, validation, justice, and respect. Any questions about that? Any comments? Anything that's coming up for you right now? Yes, Margot.
That's in no particular order of importance, right?
No. Yeah, that's a good question. Any other question? Something else to keep in mind is that even when you think about what other needs you may have, like you're hungry, right? That's a need, it's a character need. It's character's hungry, they're starving, they need some food. Which basic emotional need from this list would you compare that to?
Comfort.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say comfort.
Yeah.
But it can also be love.
It could. And yes, it could be love, because sometimes food is our love language. Absolutely. So these are the things to start thinking about, right? Like, about your characters. Like, what is it that, what do we need? When I need shelter, what am I seeking? Comfort, right? If I'm creating a villain, right? This character who is a villain, who's sort of like the antagonist, but usually I'm gonna stay with villain, right? Because villain is it's a strong enough trope to understand what I'm about to say next, which is the justice aspect, right? Because we always think about, villains always have like these evil plans and ideas, but it always comes from a basic emotional need of like something was wrongly done towards them, and now they have become this person, right? And so even for a villain, what they're seeking, their basic emotional need is justice. And so understanding what our characters need is a way of us loving them, right? And helping them figure out how they're going to acquire what it is that they seek for. Okay. Any questions before I move on? Yeah.
I was just going to say, in thinking about the villain, thank you so much for bringing that up, because I think that folks sometimes forget of the importance of the layers that a villain requires. So that, as soon as you said that, you made me really think of these 5 things, and I was like, wow, that's right. A villain still requires these needs.
Yeah.
And we don't always think about that immediately.
Absolutely. And if you're gonna create a villain, you have to understand why this character does why they do what they do. So even if the villain is not going to get their justice in your story, even if they're not going to get that justice, you have to understand why they want that justice. And you have to and then understanding that will help you figure out this arc that this character needs. You know, because maybe there's something else that can be the antidote to justice, right? And so now we're going to move into the wounds, right? The parts, the wounds that happen to us in life that change our psyche, right? Because they're traumatic, or you know, and these are the reasons why, you know, and all of the conditioning that we've done in our lives are our response to these wounds, right? So those 5 major wounds are betrayal, rejection, abandonment, humiliation, and injustice. I repeat that. Betrayal, rejection, abandonment, humiliation, and injustice. And again, this is in no particular order. These are just the 5 major wounds that can happen at any time, in any person's life, right? It's so interesting how these 5 wounds, if you see, like, if you compare those 5 wounds with the 5 basic emotional needs, a lot of those emotional needs can be the antidotes to those 5 wounds. Do you see those connections? Yeah.
Can you give an example, Christine?
Yeah, of course. Like, let's stick with the villain, right? The villain, there was an injustice done to this person. And now the villain is seeking justice, because for them, their antidote to the injustice that happened to them is whatever that justice is for them, right? Whatever, like, whether justice means for this villain a death, whether justice means some reparations, whether justice means that you know, an eye for an eye. But that is the antidote to the injustice that the villain experienced. Can anyone think of another one? Want to take a shot? Go ahead.
You can also take a shot and be off camera. That's okay too.
Absolutely.
As you were speaking, I was thinking also, for example, of like, you know, how do you pair them up? And then I was like, oh, it's so interesting, like love and rejection, right? When someone loves someone and then they're rejected, like what happens when they're rejected? And to think of it from a villain's perspective, right? How many movies are based on that? Right now I'm watching a TV show called Fatal Attraction. It's all about that.
Yeah.
It's all about that.
And also, I'll give another example. I love the love and rejection. That is definitely a very that relationship, and that, I mean, that's like the perfect. It's one of when you think about these when you pair these emotional needs with wounds, these things just naturally cause conflict. You know, and conflict is what you need for story. If you don't have conflict, you don't have a story. So when you think about the needs and the wounds and how these cause, you know, tension, or how these may cause drama, you know, it's oh, Peggy. Hey, Peggy.
Yay!
Hey, mama. It's funny because when you were like, what's the antidote to these wounds as far as the 5 basic needs, I kept going back to love.
See? Love.
So I'm going to play with this. This is going to be very interesting. But most of them, I'm like, love heals all. And it sounds very corny, but a lot of them, like humiliation, abandonment, rejection. And I'm thinking about the characters that I have in mind. I'm like, a lot of them just needed love to be able to kind of heal that wound.
And that's totally right. I mean, like, there's no right way to combine these, you know, like these, because human beings, we're complex. We're, you know, we're all built individually. We all have our own things, our own ways of like reacting, and we have our own ways of retracting, you know. So it's just like, our tics are different. What might hurt one person may be joy for another, or vice versa, you know. But I think understanding that we're complex human beings is that there's that, you know, your character can have all 5 of these major wounds at once. You know, coming like, you know, like just this, because a lot of these 5 wounds can just be like family trauma, which are the themes I was exploring in Sancocho, right? So yeah, and same thing with like, you know, humiliation. If someone's humiliated, their antidote would be respect. Like, I want to be respected, not humiliated. And if you go even deeper than that, to come back to love, right? If you have self-love, nothing will be able to humiliate you. Right? If you feel love for yourself, how can anyone make you doubt yourself? So those are some things to think about. So next, well, first, any questions or comments before we do the next step here? Awesome. Cool. So now think about a character you're still exploring. Okay. And if you don't have one at the moment, then create one and base this character on somebody you know. Okay, so base it on somebody you already know. That way you'll be able to answer the next questions about this character. But if you have a character that you're currently exploring, this is great. So somebody who you think you know, but you're still trying to get to know, you're still trying to find the quirks, you're still trying to determine, you know, what actions they're going to take and that kind of thing. And as you're thinking about who that character is, answer these following questions. Well, first, think about this character and explore what their emotional basic need is and what their major wound is. They can have more than one. Just think about what those wounds and needs could be. And then think about what their antidote would be. And then think about, how are they seeking what they need? What actions are they taking currently to get what they need? And then ask yourself, what does this character need to learn? So you're going to identify the emotional need and the wound. Then you're going to identify what the antidote is. And then you're going to figure out, and you may already know this, like especially if you've been working on this character and the story, maybe just list the ways that they're currently right now seeking those things. You know, what are they doing in your story right now? What is on their mind right now? How are they seeking this antidote? And then you, the writer, you, the creator, decide what this character needs to learn. What can they be doing wrong right now? What are they doing right so far? You know, that kind of thing. Any questions about those questions? All right, cool. So what if we do like 10 minutes? We got to think about these things, write them down. All right. And then Sicre, you'll be our time person. Thank you.
Yes, Angel. Yes. Use these 10 minutes, y'all. If you want to be off camera, if you want to be on camera, whatever you feel most comfortable.
Yeah, and I'm doing it along with you guys too, because I'm like always developing.
Me too. And I'm not even a playwright. And I'm like, oh, let me think.
And also just want to say that the antidote doesn't need to be one of those 5 basic emotional needs. Like the antidote could be something specific. It could be something like I think the more specific you get, the better. Like, you know, like to really think about what your character, with the emotional need, identify the emotional need. And with the wound, identify the wound. But then as you're thinking about the antidote, get specific. Like what happened to this character and what does this character think or what do you think this character needs in order to overcome this? Okay. So yeah, get specific with the antidote. And something that's interesting is I'm like, you know, doing this exercise along with you guys. The antidote, when I usually do this exercise, like I feel like the antidote, not all the time, but very often, is something that is self-related. So if you find that to be, if you find that to be, you know, your character's trajectory as well, you're in the right path.
I'm sorry, what do you mean by self-related?
Like self-love, self-care, you know, comfort yourself. Like, you know, like sometimes I mean, and I know that seems simple. I know that seems like what you said earlier, Peggy, like cliche, like, you know, just like, but it's not. It's not. Most of us don't practice self-care. A lot of people don't know how to. A lot of people don't, you know, are still learning to love themselves, and some people are still learning to forgive themselves, you know? And so, you know, forgiveness could also be an antidote. Andrea, feeling called out by myself. Yeah, I gotta call my therapist. I love that. By the way, y'all, like, I love comments, so keep them coming. As the kids say, villain origin story. Yep. Okay, we got 5 more minutes, y'all. All right, we have 2 more minutes. And remember, the more specific you get, the better. The more specific you get, the more you start understanding your character's trajectory of thinking, the way they problem solve, what they think they need versus what they actually need. Good. Okay. Wonderful. And if you find that you need more time with this, I mean, absolutely do this on your own time and do this with every character. It's a great exercise, especially if you're stuck on somebody, especially if you're stuck on a plot point, like, oh, how's this person going to get to this next course of action? How am I going to get them there? You might want to think about what they psychologically want to do. Okay. So the next part, what we're going to do now is just get comfortable, find like a comfy part of your chair, that your butt feels good in, you know, and like plant your feet on the ground and just try to line the crown of your head, the top of your head with your coccyx in the bottom, just like if it was pulled together with just one string. And go ahead and close your eyes. You can turn off your cameras for this part. We're gonna do a quick meditation, but there's gonna be rules to this. So maybe open your eyes again because there's gonna be rules. So I'm gonna lead y'all through like a 5 to 7 minute meditation. If it takes a little longer for you to drop in, it's totally fine. This is just something brand new. If this is something brand new to you, it's okay if you don't get it right the first time, but you will, because there's no right or wrong way to do this. So don't worry too much about that. We're not trying to be in a trance. We're just trying to drop into our subconscious part of our brains, right? Because a lot of the times when we're writing, the act of writing, especially with your hand, this is why I'm suggesting writing with your hand, is access to your subconscious brain, right? Like our conscious brain is so tiny, it's like a little dot in the front of our heads. And it helps us, you know, make decisions, and it helps us, you know, with logic and regular day-to-day things. But the rest of your brain is just so vast and has all this information. And when you're creating stories, you need to access that information. You need to access all of that subconscious information, because that's where story is. That's where your emotions are. And for your characters, that's how you're going to find them as well. That's how we connect with them as well. They all live here in our memory, whether it's memory from our lives, memories that were passed down to us, memories from our dreams. It's all memories. So when we do the writing part, make sure you just keep writing. Even when you're tripping on a word, let's just say that the last word you write is fight. You're going to keep writing fight, 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 fight until the next word comes up, and then you're just going to keep going. Thank you, ambulance. See that? And no editing. No matter what you do not go back and read what you just wrote. Just keep writing. Allow yourself to stay in the meditative subconscious part of your brain. And the way to do that is by ignoring your conscious brain. Your conscious brain is going to want to know what you just wrote. Your conscious brain is going to want to like keep editing, like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. That's grammatically incorrect. No, we're not doing that. We don't care about grammar. And we don't care about if one idea doesn't make sense. And we don't care if that's totally random. And where the hell did this crocodile with a hat come out of? You know, if there's a crocodile with a top hat who comes up in your subconscious, then that's exactly what you're going to write. Got it? Okay, now you can close your eyes. Breathe. And line your bodies. Get comfortable. Inhale through your nostrils and exhale through your mouth. Hands on your lap. And just keep connecting to your breath. Now, as you breathe, you just want to rotate your head a little bit. Doesn't matter which direction, just a little bit. Continue breathing. And if the rotating stops, let your head hang down. Let it hang over. Continue breathing. Just slowly lift your head up as you're breathing. Feel the light touch your third eye. This white light of knowledge and information just bask into this big, bright, white light of information. And walk into that light. Imagine you're floating right up into it. And as you're floating up into this light, You just transported into this new world. There's a beach there. You smell the ocean. Do you feel the sand between your toes? Wiggle your toes in the sand, it feels good. You smell the salt in the air, you can feel it crystallize on your skin. And the ocean goes so far deep down the horizon, there's just nothing else to see but just sun over the horizon. Just you on this lonely private beach. And now walk towards the shore. Look at your feet as you take the steps. And as you take steps, if you take steps towards the shore, allow your feet to touch the water and walk into that water, maybe until your knees feel the water. Then you can stop right there, but count your steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now the water is right at your knees. And it's warm water, like Caribbean Sea warm. But there's someone swimming towards you. They're coming from the shore. They're calling you back. They're calling you back to the sand. It's your character. Envision them. Look at them. What are they wearing? What do they look like? What are they saying as they call you back to the sand? There's something urgent this character needs to tell you. So walk back. And as you walk back, you see your character has something in their hands. As you walk to meet your character, look at the object that they are showing you. Examine this object. What is it? What does it feel like? Place it in your hands. What feeling is it giving you? Now look at your character. And now open your eyes and write down exactly what your character wanted to tell you. And just keep writing. I'm gonna put some music on. Remember, just keep on writing. Even if you get stuck on a word. Don't edit. is a small introduction. All of a sudden, someone else is calling you guys. Who is it? What do they want? Someone else just walked into the beach. How does your character feel? Who's this person? What do they want to say? Other person leave. Oh, how do they leave? How's your character? Now finish the last thing you were writing. It's okay if you're not done yet with that thought, but just try to finish the thought. And as soon as you finish writing that last sentence, close your eyes again and get into that comfortable position. And tell your character, thank you for their time today. And let them know that you'll be back, and that you've heard them, that you've understand them. And when you're ready, you can come back into the room. Okay, we're back. I'm sorry if it was difficult to hear what I was saying, but it doesn't matter. What matters is that you kept writing and that, you kept exploring things. I was just throwing in stuff because I felt the impulse to do it. So someone else was coming and I was like, oh wait, I got to share this with my room. Someone else is coming. What's happening? Angel, the epiphanies. Yeah, wonderful. I love that. All right. How do you guys feel? What happened? Any questions? Any things that came up?
Turn your cameras on if you'd like. We have a couple minutes for questions and sharing of things. Margot has a little thumbs up. Please feel free to unmute and just share what this was like.
Tiffany, super healing. Yeah.
I'll go ahead and start. I had an epiphany that I thought my show was about one thing, and now I'm seeing that it's about another. Like, I mean, it still is about that thing before, like, that I originally thought it was, but that is not the entirety of it. And so now I have a whole new scope to work with, and I'm like, this shouldn't be free what you're doing right now. Like, I am so grateful for this entire experience. So thank you. I appreciate it.
It's a gift. My pleasure to offer it. We should always share our knowledge. I'm glad that you found those. I'm so glad that you found this new discovery. Like, it's just gonna make your writing process even deeper now, In
a bizarre, strange way, I felt like I was in a Peloton session when they end the session and they're like, self-love, you found the time for yourself today. And like, I felt that way, but it was a writing self-love because like, we don't often find the time for ourselves or for our art. And I felt like today's session was a moment to be able to create, even if it was 15 minutes or 20 minutes of like writing for me and for who I am as an artist. So thank you so much for that. Because it really, literally, I was like, this is self-care for today. I took care of this part of what I needed today.
I love that you said that because oftentimes our characters are just extensions of ourselves. And spending time with them is also spending time with yourself. Yeah. With your own subconscious, with your own emotions, with whatever you're feeling.
I love what Tiffany just wrote. I've been so busy lately, especially today, that this is such a great moment and a break to create when I do not often, when I don't do it often enough in this format. I agree. Same thing.
It's therapeutic in a way. I mean, writing is always therapeutic in some ways, even when it hurts. I mean, sometimes healing hurts. I mean, usually it does, right? It hurts before it feels good.
Natalia, is that how I say your name?
Natalia, yes.
Natalia, okay.
Yeah, this is a character that I'm kind of new to. It's someone like I'm collaborating with someone else. So like she created the character, but I identify a lot with like her struggles. It's like body struggles, like not having a dancer's body, quote unquote, is like a big part of it. And like what she gave me was like a wand, like a magic wand. And she was like, change me, fix me. Like, and I was like, I can't do that. Like I felt like at the end, I was like, I can't do that. Because that would mean that like you live in my body. And so to change you, I would need to change myself. And that's not how this works. Like you're not going to be able to, the problem is not your body. The problem is not you. It's the relationship that other people associate with your body, but your body's not the problem. Like it's not going to fix your problem. Right. So I was like talking to her. It was really fascinating. So thank you so much for this session.
I love that. Oh, that's so a wand. Change me. Oh my gosh, my hair stood up. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that.
Peggy, feel free to jump in.
I'm all in my feelings. So I'm like, I have to keep going. Like once we end, I'm like, I gotta write this out.
Hey.
I'm goal oriented. So even when you were like, you're at the beach, I'm like, well, I guess my character's gonna be at the beach in this play because I need to write this out. But I was like, well, how the hell are we gonna end up at the beach? But I did it. I just flowed with it. I stopped the self-editing. And I ended up finding a really tender spot for this character who starts off very much hard and justice motivated. And she's kind of like the one that everybody wants to be like. But doing this exercise, I was like, I kept saying when I was writing her, I was like, there's no depth to her. She's just angry and hard-bodied, right? And I'm like, how do I get there? With this exercise, I found it. So now I know what the wound is, what she thought she wanted is not what she wanted, but it's really killing me right now. Like I feel really tender and kind of like, I feel her hurt. So I'm like, I gotta finish this. I gotta finish this before I go to my next meeting later on at 7.
Yeah.
Because about she thought she wanted justice, but she didn't get the justice that she thought that justice would cause her to heal, but it didn't. It did the opposite. So now I'm just kind of like, I want to see where that goes. Even if I change the setting, but I'm like, no, this will work. This will work. So thank you for this. That's why I bother you, girl. Everywhere I see your show, I'm like, I'm there because I learn. I really do. I'm the type of person that learns by doing, and I'm visual. So doing it, I'm like, all right, you could talk to me till tomorrow, but if I don't do it, I won't get it. But this is great.
I learned the same way. I need to do it. Yeah. Is it kinesthetic learning?
It's kinesthetic learning, absolutely. But I was just like, I didn't expect this character to need this, and I think it's necessary. This character needs this kind of shutdown. I didn't know how I was going to get there, but now I know. So thank you for that.
Okay. Yes, I love that. That's such an important discovery too. It's, and especially, and what I love the most is when we find those deep, tender moments with our characters, because I mean, nothing creates more compassion than that. And you need to have compassion for your characters. You're the creator, right? So it's like, as a creator, don't you have compassion for the things that you make? What happened there? Like, what's going on? How can I help you?
And I was trying really hard not to go back and edit because I'm writing it in poetics. I'm a poet. So I'm writing this in poetry form. And I'm like, don't go back and look at the verse. Don't go back.
But you know what you would do after this session, like once, like, you can do this as long as you want. And what you want to do after this session is go back. Now you can go back and look at what you wrote and circle things that make a lot of sense, or you can underline things that didn't make sense, that don't make sense just quite yet, but but it's interesting and it's piquing some kind of interest. So you got to maybe take some more time to figure out what it is that your mind was trying to tell you. So yeah, now you would, so after the whole session, you will go back and just read what you wrote and yeah, and then reflect. Because you might figure out even more things now, Peggy, as you go back and read. Oh, Angel, I love what you wrote. Yeah, sometimes the writing process and it's just it's thinking. When you're thinking, you're writing.
We have about a minute and a half. So if anyone wants to share anything, we would love for y'all to just feel free to share any final thoughts or any final epiphanies or anything of the sort. Thank you for y'all for putting things in the chat. Some of the things you're writing in the chat is incredibly moving. So thank you so much. I'm like,
Tiffany, I love you.
oh, it's really beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. On this beautiful note, yay! I want to say thank you so much, everyone, for joining us in the space. I want to thank Naomi and I want to thank Selena. Thank you so much for joining us in the space, and Anna for transcribing the captions for us as well. And of course, if we could please give Cato a big warm applause, and a big thank you. Thank you so much for joining us in the space. It means so much to all of us. And next week we have another guest coming in. Rachel will be coming in and doing another session. So please feel free to join us in the space. Feel free to join us on live or watching the recording. And the recording is there for you as well, so that you can at any moment revisit this and re-experience it and any of the sort. So again, thank you everyone for being in this space, and I hope everyone has a beautiful weekend. Bye everyone.
Thank you.
That was beautiful.
Yay.